Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Mama June, Pumpkin not fine after her boyfriend's flip fail, dropped her on head. Mama June stars Pumpkin and Darren are currently in the honeymoon phase of their relationship. Everything is new, and they enjoy each other's company. Hence, their social media posts show the couple's playful antics and fun-loving bond. However, it appears that some adventures are making them pay now. Fans were in shock when they recently saw Pumpkin being dropped on her head. Her boyfriend's failed flip led to this unfortunate incident, and the celeb perhaps got hurt. Is Lauren fine? Why were these two flipping each other? What were they up to? Mama June star Pumpkin isn't leaving any chance of flaunting her newfound chemistry with Darren Kitchens. She hangs out with the latter and goes to concerts with him. Hence, the celeb is evidently having fun and is trying new things with her new beau. Amid all this, Lauren decided to try the viral challenge in which her boyfriend was supposed to flip her completely. However, Darren's latest stunt have taken things a step too far as his attempt to show off his strength failed miserably. He recorded when he tried to lift Pumpkin, and within a few seconds, fans saw Pumpkin taking a nosedive. Hence, she ended up landing smack on her head and fans were sure that she got a serious hit on her head. Pumpkin and Darren surely didn't have this in mind, and they couldn't much but awkwardly laugh it off. Fans were quick to take this matter to Reddit, and wondered if Lauren was fine or not. However, there hasn't been any report of serious injury, and it appears that the celeb is fine. But the OP believes that not everything should be tried at home because some head-over-heels moments aren't really safe to perform. Pumpkin's current life decisions aren't sitting well with her audience. She has parted ways with Josh Efrid and is currently dating the latter's cousin. The celeb allegedly hooked up behind her husband's back and has been surrounded by cheating accusations these days. But that's not all. Fans have now started to consider her to be the 2.0 version of Mama June. Like Shannon, Lauren also focuses more on her new boyfriend than her kids. Darren has moved in with her and is already living close to her children. Moreover, the celeb has already hinted at how she and Josh have failed to co-parent their 4 kids, and they keep on butting heads. This makes it evident that Pumpkin's children are the victims, and they are suffering a lot. The scene was set for a fun-filled afternoon when Lauren, Pumpkin, Efard, and her boyfriend decided to add a bit of adrenaline to their day. What started as a light-hearted attempt at some amateur acrobatics ended in a terrifying accident, leaving Pumpkin's fans worried and her loved ones on edge. Pumpkin had always been the adventurous one in the family, ever since her time in front of the cameras on Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. She had taken risks, lived loud, and rarely hesitated when someone dared her to try something new. But today, things took a dark turn when a simple flip went horribly wrong. It all started at a family gathering meant to bring everyone together after a long stretch of drama and personal challenges. The Efard household had been under stress lately, dealing with the aftermath of Mama June's continued struggles and Pumpkin's recent breakup with Josh. To ease the tension, her boyfriend, Logan, a man who had swooped into Pumpkin's life when she was least expecting it, suggested a spontaneous game of backyard stunts. "What's the harm?" Pumpkin had said, laughing. "I could use a little fun." The family watched from the sidelines, unsure whether to cheer or advise caution. Honey Boo Boo, now a teenager, sat cross-legged on the porch, recording everything on her phone for what she was sure would be another viral moment on TikTok. "I don't know if this is a good idea, Pumpkin," Alana warned. "Y'all ain't exactly professionals." But Pumpkin, stubborn as ever, brushed off her sister's concerns with a wave. Logan had suggested they attempt a simple partner flip, a stunt he claimed to have done plenty of times in his high school wrestling days. The idea was simple. Logan would lift Pumpkin, she'd flip in the air and land gracefully back on her feet. Only, that's not what happened. As the family cheered them on, Logan grabbed Pumpkin's hands, positioned himself, and began the flip. But halfway through, something went terribly wrong. Logan lost his grip, and Pumpkin was airborne for just a second too long. Time seemed to slow down for the crowd watching. The laughter turned into gasps as Pumpkin's body twisted in the wrong direction, and she plummeted toward the ground. The thud echoed across the yard as Pumpkin landed hard, her head striking the ground with a sickening sound. "Pumpkin!" Honey Boo Boo screamed, dropping her phone and rushing toward her sister. Logan, frozen in shock for a moment, quickly followed suit, his face ashen. Pumpkin didn't move at first. The family circled her, panic setting in as they tried to get her to respond. For a few agonizing moments, she lay still, her eyes closed, her chest barely rising and falling. "Mama, get help," Honey Boo Boo cried, turning to her mother, who had been sitting inside, watching from the window. Mama June, who had been trying to lay low lately and stay out of the drama, sprang into action. She rushed out the door, her phone already in hand, dialing 911. "Pumpkin, baby, can you hear me?" Logan pleaded, kneeling beside her, his hand trembling as he tried to feel for any signs of consciousness. The moments that followed felt like an eternity. Pumpkin slowly stirred, her eyes fluttering open. She winced, her hand moving toward her head. What happened?" she muttered weakly, her voice groggy and disoriented. "You fell, babe. You hit your head," Logan explained, his voice shaking. "You're gonna be okay. Help is on the way." But Pumpkin wasn't so sure. As she tried to sit up, a sharp pain shot through her skull, and a wave of nausea washed over her. Her vision blurred, and she collapsed back onto the ground, moaning in pain. "Don't move, Pumpkin," Mama June shouted, her voice thick with fear. "You could make it worse. Just lie still, sweetie." The ambulance arrived shortly after, and the paramedics quickly assessed the situation. They stabilized Pumpkin's neck and gently lifted her onto a stretcher, loading her into the back of the ambulance while the rest of the family looked on, tears in their eyes. The ride to the hospital was tense. Logan sat in the back with Pumpkin, holding her hand, apologizing over and over again for what had happened. "I'm so sorry, babe. I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought I could do it." Pumpkin squeezed his hand weakly, but the pain in her head was overwhelming. She could barely focus on his words. Every bump in the road sent another jolt of agony through her body, and the flashing lights and sirens only made her head spin more. By the time they arrived at the hospital, Pumpkin was barely conscious. The doctors immediately took her in for a CT scan to assess the damage. Hours passed as the family anxiously waited for news, pacing the waiting room, trying to distract themselves from the worst-case scenarios running through their minds. Finally, a doctor emerged with the results. "She's got a concussion," he explained, his voice steady but serious. "And there's some swelling around her brain. We're going to keep her here for observation for the next 48 hours to make sure the swelling goes down, but she's going to be okay. It could have been much worse." Relief flooded through the room. Logan sank into a chair, his head in his hands, tears streaming down his face. Honey Boo Boo hugged Mama June tightly, both of them sobbing. When they were finally allowed to see Pumpkin, she was lying in a hospital bed, her head wrapped in bandages, her face pale and tired, but she managed a small smile when her family entered the room. "I'm okay," she whispered, her voice still weak but stronger than before. "I guess I'm not cut out for flipping." The room erupted in laughter, a much-needed release after the day's terrifying ordeal. Next time, Pumpkin added with a grin, "I'm sticking to something safer, like sitting still." Despite the jokes and the relief, it was clear that the accident had shaken everyone to their core. Pumpkin would recover physically, but the emotional scars of the day would linger for a while. Logan, in particular, was haunted by the close call, vowing to never suggest anything so reckless again. As the family rallied around Pumpkin during her recovery, they were reminded of just how fragile life could be, and how quickly a fun day could turn into a nightmare.